On February 5th, 2019, Crisis Brigade released on the PSVR, receiving great reviews for being an exciting and cheap PSVR game. And people only grew to love it as the developers over at Sumalab added more updates like new missions and online multiplayer. And now in the middle of 2020, we've received Crisis Brigade 2 for the PSVR. So, is Crisis Brigade 2 any good? And does it exceed its predecessor? Crisis Brigade 2 is an arcade-like game that has you moving from point to point fighting waves of enemies and avoiding endless amounts of bullets. This game is in the same vein as classic games like Time Crisis or The House of the Dead. If you're unfamiliar with those games, it's basically a first-person shooter that has you moving from point to point, taking cover, and taking out all enemies in the area. So if you're expecting something like Call of Duty, you won't find it here. The game has 3 different missions in total, each consisting of a bunch of rooms, a variety of alternate paths, boss battles, enemies to take down, and power-ups to collect. Each of these missions are fairly difficult, just like the first game, but one great addition to the sequel is coins. And these coins can be used to purchase both temporary and permanent powers and items. You can purchase health, guns, cosmetics, and a hard mode. You can also use your coins after dying in a level to continue, but it's a high price and can only be redeemed twice per attempt. I love the addition of coins, as I thought it added a new sense of progression past completing the 3 missions. One thing I love about the Crisis Brigade games is that you're forced to use the environment around you to the fullest. If you plan on succeeding, you'll have to be strategic and take cover to avoid the overwhelming amounts of bullets. The game constantly has you hiding against walls, ducking down behind objects, and peeking around corners to get a sneaky shot on the enemy. The firefights are some of the most immersive I've experienced in VR. You just have to make sure that you have a good camera angle so that you can capture your movements while standing or ducking. Probably the most impressive upgrade of Crisis Brigade 2 is the graphics. The first game had a blocky, Minecraft-like style for all the environments and models, which was fine but wasn't anything impressive. But Crisis Brigade 2 takes it to an entirely new level by having a realistic style with some impressive environments, and the models are cel-shaded, making them stand out more from everything else in the game. The visual upgrades are very impressive in Crisis Brigade 2, and they definitely help to further immersion of the game. I did run into a few issues with Crisis Brigade 2. The first being that I would lose track of where I was both in my room and in the game world. I think it would be useful if the developers could put a little marker on the ground, or some sort of setting that could display where the center is if you stray too far away. My other issues are more minor, with one being an issue where I both won and lost a mission at the same time. It still unlocked the next mission for me, but I had to restart the game because I couldn't interact with anything. My other nitpick is that I noticed a few small graphical issues, like a wall that was invisible, but there wasn't anything that ruined my experience or harmed the gameplay. So overall, Crisis Brigade 2 is a fantastic game. I was expecting to have a lot of fun with this game, but I honestly didn't expect to love it this much. This game has some of the most exciting and intense firefights you can get in VR, with the perfect amount of difficulty. The game supports both the move and aim controllers, which work really well. And the game is only going to get better, as it's getting online multiplayer in a few months, and a few other updates. Crisis Brigade 2 is now one of my favorite PSVR games, and I highly recommend you pick it up.